Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
And speaking of alien threats, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio. This is our new show on Wednesday, U.F.O. MAXX. I am your host, Grantavious MAXX, and I have Lee Strauss joining me this evening. Oh, this is going to be one for the records. Now, we're starting a little bit early tonight, just because we only have a very short segment and we have a lot to cover. Each week, we bring you a variety of fascinating subjects, as you guys know, to explore. Some we're going to spend a moment on the strange, the bizarre. We're talking about UFOs, baby. So you don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And also don't forget to catch Dave Scott at our helm Monday through Friday, as well as Rob G on the weekend show, The After Hours, which you guys used to see me on. You can also check out Lee Strauss and his show, Element 115. If you missed our archives or any of our shows, don't worry. You can always catch them live on YouTube. So guess what? You're never going to miss them. Visit our website at spacedoutradio.com, where you'll find a plethora of features, including rocking out to Bumblefoot, which is always fun, diving into SOR Newswire, and so much more. We ask again that you like and subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a moment of Spaced Out Radio, including yourself. You guys deserve this. If you could do us a huge favor and share this show with one of your friends, or just share it with everybody, go to YouTube.
And your family.
And your family. Absolutely. We would be incredibly grateful, because it really does help us out. I mean, honestly, you guys know how it is. It's live. It's entertainment. We're on YouTube. We're on everything else. Click that like, subscribe, and share, because without you, SR would not be possible. So we thank you for that.
That's right.
Speaking of support, if you guys would like to help us keep the lights on, please know that Super Chat is always open and available. It's a fantastic way to help show your support and continue helping us to do what we do here at Spaced Out Radio. We also have a store full of SOR swag and merchandise, and we don't have ugly merchandise. We do not have.
No, we do not.
Hoodies, t-shirts, I don't care what it is, mugs, so much more. You guys check it out, spacedoutradio.com. You can check us out on our other media sites like TikTok, Instagram, X. Find these links in the show notes below. You guys can figure it out there. Now grab your favorite beverage, because we're about to get this party started. Lee, how are you doing tonight?
Man, I am happy to be on your show for once. Holy cow.
This is going to be fun.
This is epic. This is like a major thing that's happening now every Wednesday. I've always wanted to do a show on Wednesday. And guess what? You came in and said, hey, I want to do a show on Wednesday. And I'm like, heck yeah, man. Finally.
Oh, this is going to be gravy. Now, for everybody that knows that we're supposed to start in 2 minutes, I just wanted to do a little bit of a roll call. I know it's something that we used to do, every night. We only have an hour, so I just wanted to get this done and over with as quickly as possible. But I want to at least name everybody that's out there and say hello to you guys, because you guys are the ones that put us on the air. You guys are the ones that facilitate SOR as a whole. So in first place, which I'm surprised is not Race Fan, by the way, Mike, I don't know what you're doing, bro. You need to call me. I'll give you my number. I'll call you. Okay. Kitty Cat Whack actually got first place. Thank you for showing up to SOR. And of course, we're on there as well. Andrew Gnomes Trucking Express, by the way, you got second place. Congratulations to the both of you, David Nuremberg. Yep, congratulations.
And Corey up next. Absolutely. Yep. And Mel WD40 is lubing us up for tonight.
Yeah. And we got Frankie B, Race Fan, finally. And
there we go. Not human.
Not human. So not human. By the way, he's going to be doing his own kind of show. I think he's going to be doing a video game, something or other, but he's going to be doing that live soon. I will be helping him facilitate that. So not human, nice. Welcome to the show. Nice. And yeah, Talon, love you, brother. Operation Shutdown, alien threats. Yes. Are they really a threat, though? We'll find out.
Maybe.
All right. Laura Labs, welcome. And Algaray. Ooh, I like that name. Ooh, that's a good one. Hey,
Algaray, yeah.
welcome to the show. Tim James in the house.
Oh, there he is.
Heck yeah. Look at that. And Not Human, our first super chat right there. Thank you so much for your love and support of Space Out Radio. We really appreciate you for that. And then let's see, I'm Hardcore. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we got, I Am Hardcore on X.
Yep. And
there you go.
Like that shirt, Lee. Hey, support your local Bigfoot official.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
All right. Amanda's Crazy Life channel. Oh, you just wait. I want to talk to you so bad in real life. We have so much in common. So Amanda is actually from the Shasta County area around Mount Shasta, which is where I'm from. And we have a love interest, common love interest and passion for that mountain. So good to see you here. Let's see, who else do we got here? Wes Decker. Howdy. All right. So let's get this thing kicked off. We have so much to talk about.
We do.
Lee, did you watch the Immaculate Constellation? All three?
All three.
The buildup, actual buildup was wild. Let's talk about episode 1, episode 2. They aired Tuesday at noon on Pacific Standard Time, and it took 3 weeks to get to episode 3, but they teased the whole way.
The whole way. It was like these little tidbits keep coming at you. And then the third one was like the big whammy right at the end. Holy cow.
It was. I couldn't believe it. And Kitty Cat Whack, thank you so much for the super sticker. We really appreciate your love and support for Spaced Out Radio.
Wonderful.
Kira! Oh God, I love her. She's so gorgeous.
She's awesome.
I love her to death. So, and when I say gorgeous people, I mean her soul. Her soul is pure platinum. Gold, not good enough. She's a platinum soul. And now I have a dog doing zoomies around me. All right. Welcome, Mr. Crowley, my French bulldog who decides to get the zoomies right when I'm doing this. So, Immaculate Constellation.
Yes.
So we have a very short time. We're going to dissect the third and final episode of Immaculate Constellation with Matthew Brown. I actually split this up. I used AI, everybody, just to let you know how I did this. I entered everything in it and as much as I could. And of course, my English is a little subpar, so I wanted to have good syntax and commas and abbreviations. So I had it split up into 6 groups. And the first one is the Immaculate Constellation Port and Impact. So the fact that when he started and he was talking to Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, and he had said something where he had surprised the Congress with this the submission. So in my notes, I say Brown and Knapp discussed the unexpected submission of the Immaculate Constellation report to the congressional record. This caught many, particularly unelected congressional staff, by surprise and caused them to, quote unquote, scramble. That's great. But what I actually focused on that one was somebody else was scared. That's what he said.
Yes.
Now he feels like he's not the only one.
Right.
So, I mean, is that the way you took this?
Now, yes. And the fact that now you have three of them all of a sudden ill.
Yes.
For the latest 2 skiffs. 2 skiffs.
Yes.
3 ill. What the heck is going on? What? You had Lou Elizondo sick. You had David Grush sick. And you had Chris Mellon sick.
Of all people.
All at the same time.
Yep. And in fact, I just heard that, 72 hours ago is when I found out about all that. And I was like, what is going on here? There's no coincidence in that. You don't have these 3 top tier people being sick at the same time. There's something else going on. I mean, just my opinion, people.
I feel it.
Yep. And so, but there is a significance in this being recorded in Congress, because when he originally wrote Immaculate Constellation and submitted it, they hid him. And in fact, they hit him with the news people, the people that share this, behind the cameras, so to speak, and they got them to talk about it, and it's good that happened, and that they have the Immaculate Constellation. Of course, everybody sees the YouTube shorts or whatever your fancy is when you go to your social media, and because I do not watch any mainstream media, like anything on
No.
TV. I just don't, haven't in a while. But it's really good he got his paper out there, and he was actually able to talk to him, and he was at relief because they were scared too. And we're going to get to the scary part at the very end, guys. So I mean, because Brown's core belief, he has a strong conviction, and when it comes to what's been going on, the UFOs that have been flying in the sky, I know they call them UAPs, but you know what?
Mhm.
I'm Gen X, guys.
Right. Old school.
I'm old
Yep.
school.
That's
UFO.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, it can be called a USO. Cool. Unidentified submerged object. But guess what? These things can go into space. They can go in the air. They can go in the water. Nothing stops them.
I'm even thinking that they can go into solid rock.
Yeah.
If they can pull you out of your room in your house, why can't their craft go into solid rock?
This is that moment where I wish I had a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
Because I do have a sort of a theory on this. But yes, can they do something like that at the molecular level? I don't even think it's molecular. I think it's at the quantum level. But unless we're talking about Hal Puthoff and CERN and all that stuff, then we can tie all those together. But right now we don't have that time.
Right.
So everybody, do your research. Don't just listen to Lee and me. That actually rhymed. But don't just listen to Lee and me. Do your research, and not just listening to somebody else on a YouTube channel or a podcast. Look it up, dude. It's on the internet. It's free. You can just sit there, and of course, obviously, the internet never tells lies. You can believe everything on the internet. For anybody that's listening to this and not watching the video, I shook my head vehemently. This is a bunch of malarkey. The good thing is, though, he had people in Congress scared, which made him happy. The biggest thing was throughout this whole time, he didn't have any alliances. In fact, we've been talking about Grush. Grush is the one that actually told him to go to Knapp and Corbell to talk to them about this. And so during that interview, though, he finally, I mean, that's the timeline. We're talking about something that you would think happened in a few days. No, this happened over the course of months, many months. And so there was an emerging alliance.
Yes.
So he mentioned finding allies among whistleblowers, ones that have come out and ones have yet to come out. So we have those things that are, it's a movement that we're just still waiting to see. So when we see this third install of Immaculate Constellation on Corbell's site, weaponized, if anybody wants to go look at it, I encourage you to do so. Then the way it left off, there's more. And let's talk about. Go ahead.
What this shows to me is that there's factions deeply embedded in this, right? That don't want information out and that do.
Okay, so the people that want information out is who? The people that have a strong moral conviction.
Yes.
And the people that are like you and I, where we don't know, but we want to know. So,
and then there's that third group, right? That have something to gain by keeping it secret.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we can see this in real life. If you guys want to see something, not just UFO related, not alien related, not, anything that has to do with the age of disclosure. Okay. And I can't wait to see that video, by the way. Let's look at it just as a global impact right now. Let's pick something mundane, which is not mundane to people that have this problem. So if you are a diabetic in the United States, how much does it cost you for your insulin? Okay. Go outside of the United States. How much does it cost you there? Do your research, find out the same thing happens, man. This is what controls everything. It's that
Yep.
pinka pinka for you in Germany. You know what I'm talking about. So, either way, I mean, oh gosh, so much, so much. I'm glad he got everything out in Congress. I
Yes.
really hope that we can get him in a skiff where if you listen to the show, people, he said he's keeping back some things. He's
Yeah,
holding back.
he is. He is. Matt Brown is holding some things back. I think hopefully it's possible, and I've heard that there might be another hearing coming out. It's possible before the end of the year. Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed because Matt Brown would be part of that hearing. And it would be super beneficial to hear for him. And I'm sure when he actually does come out, it is going to be like a landslide.
I think it will be.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot to look forward to in the future. And
Mhm.
near future, I'm not talking about like next year, 2026. I think in the near future, we have a lot to look forward to. If we do
Mhm.
have a congressional hearing with Michael Brown, um,
Mhm.
even Commander David Fravor, that's who I was going to say, but we have all these people, Lou Elizondo and just George Knapp, and everybody can come into a meeting and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. Will everybody believe it? No. But hey,
No.
you know what?
Mhm.
The only reason why I'm here and I'm back in front of the camera is because it's baby steps. And I'm here
Yeah.
to facilitate that. And I'm interested in it. And the reason why everybody that's watching this is interested in it, we need that information. And this is
Mhm.
information as if you guys watched or listened to that show, okay, what Matthew Brown has been saying all the way up even into the third part of that interview, we've already known most of this. We've
Yes.
we've already known that this has been hidden for over 80 years.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they sit there and talk about like Lee, they show you an actual video or
Mhm.
4K high definition video of a flying saucer. Oops, excuse
Yes.
me. Or, some type of cigar, tic tac, it doesn't matter what it is, some kind of ship, and it lands for once in 40 years. What are you going to do? Oh, yeah, I already knew that was going to happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of people think, well, what's the agenda behind releasing this information?
Yeah.
What do they have to gain? So that's a huge thought behind it. What do they have to gain by saying, yeah, a craft landed and here's the video? Okay. Is somebody making some money somewhere behind the scenes on this? I mean, that's where my mind immediately goes is somebody's banking and getting funds for showing this information. You
Exactly.
know, is it the Defense Department or is it, like Lockheed Martin? I mean, who is it that's getting the money from this thing?
That is a good question. Based on everything that I've believed, and this is, of course, my honest own opinion, it has
Mhm.
nothing to do with anybody else out there. You want to laugh at me? That's fine. I got thick skin. I can take it. I think that when we do a FOIA request and we're like, hey, what happened to this evidence? Where is this spacecraft? And the Department of Defense or the federal government says, well, we don't got it. They're not lying. I don't
Right.
think they're lying. I think that they really don't have it. I think that the people like Lockheed, Skunk Works, and all the other
Mhm.
affiliates that are subcontracted under the DoD or the federal government, I think they're the ones that have it, and some other people might have it,
Exactly. They do. Mhm.
and that is power.
But they know that's the thing is that they're keeping it from us, right? So that's lies through admission.
Correct. So, I mean, if you go to the third part of the show with
Mhm.
Matthew Brown and Knapp and Corbell, there's a nature of phenomenon, and there's a government handling when it comes to this, and there's denial and policy. So I mean, Brown and Knapp assert that denial is a standard operating procedure, which it is. We've seen this. This is
Yeah.
something that we're used to. We're indoctrinated almost when it comes to that. I mean, there's a potential technology that we have witnessed: gimbal, go fast,
Yes.
anything that has to do with the Nimitz, right?
Yes.
We've seen this.
Right.
Did they say anything? Nah, it got leaked, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that happened, whatever." But no one's taken responsibility for it.
Nobody has, and that's really to not only our detriment, but the people that have come forward to share that information too. They're relying, they're hoping that somebody above them will say, "Hey, yeah, this is real," but they're not getting that.
Nope.
They're not getting the backup that they deserve, and that's really disheartening.
It is. I mean, well, look, when he was in that interview, Matthew Brown's like, he was asked, did you have backup? Do you have sources where you can go and talk about this? And no,
Mhm.
they even called it, I can't say it on air, but I mean, there's initials BS,
Yeah,
and it's a bunch of malarkey, because there is no actual avenue for a whistleblower. He's not getting any support. He had to find that support through means that was probably, detrimental to his safety and his livelihood and everything else, which we already know that that's crashed and burned.
yeah.
So, I mean, they are making this very difficult, whoever it is.
Yeah. And I think possibly too is what they're coming forward with now, behind the scenes is they're saying, you know what? We don't know that you serve time in the DOD or in, military service. Therefore, you might not be getting a pension because you're talking about this stuff. We don't want you to talk about it.
Well,
So that's something that could be happening. We don't know.
that could be happening on active duty. For
Mhm.
people that see this and might pull out their cell phone, they're like, "Oh, hey, I can catch that on camera," you know.
Mhm.
And I got an old cell phone. This is just a 14 or something. I don't even know what it is, but anyways, and they might say, "Hey, if you publish this, I want that deleted out of your phone, or else your
Mhm.
pension's gone." So that's what I see, and especially with this conversation with Matthew Brown, that is like the smallest of the small. This guy is afraid for his life. This guy
Yeah.
is afraid for his family. Giving up.
Family.
Oh yeah, it's not just him; it's his family. Actually, what's crazy is at the very end, he got asked. And I think it was Knapp that asked him. He's like, what happens? Or actually, it was Corbell. He's like, what happens if you were, tomorrow you're not here?
Right.
And he's like, well, don't look too much into that. Like, it just, if it happens, it happens. But there's the seeds that have been planted.
Yes. Yes. I think most people like ourselves are concerned about our family. We don't really care about ourselves so much, but it's our
Mhm.
family that we do care about.
Yep.
And that's key. And they know that. So they will pull those strings if they have to, if they feel they need to.
Okay, so we're gonna veer off topic just for a second. Only because I live like 20 miles away from this guy. Okay.
Okay.
So so back in 1986, right? Or I might have just misquoted the year. Either way, back when I was 6 or 7, let's just put it that way. Ooh, I just dated myself. Bob Lazar,
Oh yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
who worked at S4. He showed up on, what is it called, the Victoria
Uh,
flights.
yeah, the plane.
Yeah, showed up
Um,
in Area 51, took a
oh, I
bus over
can't
to
remember
S4.
the name of the plane.
Anyways, so he showed up, went to his job, and of course, the government had his phone tapped, realized what was going
Janet.
on. Janet flight,
Janet
that's it. Thank
Airlines.
you.
Yep.
And so I was close, not at all, but so the Janet flights, and we have a W-2. We got information that yes, he was really there, but then all of a sudden they realized he might have been compromised because his wife was doing whatever. You guys can look into that yourselves. And of course then he got a hold of friends and family, took him out to the desert, and but they were shutting him down like
Yep.
quickly. He actually thought that something was going to happen to him at
Yeah.
that point. And
Mhm.
so then he started showing everybody he could, which, I mean, heck, I'd do that too.
Oh yeah.
Why not, man? I mean, if an
Mhm.
alien spacecraft landed in my front yard. Done. I'll warn them. I'll be like, "Hey, don't land in my front yard, dude. I'm
Yeah.
gonna videotape it. I'm gonna do the high five, the hand hug, the dab, everything, and then
Mhm.
I'm gonna post it. I'm sorry,
Yeah. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
and keep doing it, people.
That's correct.
Keep doing it.
Absolutely. Get that evidence and share it for sure.
Oh, this is amazing. But
Yep.
I mean, the personal cost, and the reason why I brought up Bob Lazar is because there was a personal cost to him. I've seen, and I know. So Jim Goodall is really good friends with Bob Lazar,
Yep.
and he was just here, I think, last
Yes.
summer. And unfortunately, I love Jim.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
That's not unfortunate, but I was going to say something else. But realistically, I love Jim. He's a good dude. Anybody
Mhm.
ever comes to any of our parties, our fan parties, whether it be Vegas, Reno, or wherever we're going next year, I don't want to let that out. But Jim's usually there. In fact, I
Yes.
don't think he's missed one yet, and I think he has 100% record. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that, the group of us, it's like family. When you come to one of these get-togethers, one of these fan parties, it's like it's all family. Everybody's coming together. It's a blast. I'll tell you that. And I was sorry that I wasn't able to make the last one, but definitely will be there for next year for sure. But what a great family coming together. Yep.
Absolutely. No, they were great. In fact, when I found out that Jim was here, because he had posted it on his social media page,
Mhm.
I believe Facebook, and it was like 2 hours after that. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Come to my house, dude. I'll make you a steak. He's like, oh, I'm already halfway up to Salem, dude. And I'm like, oh
Mm.
well, okay.
Yeah.
But there's a tying it back to David Brown and the Immaculate Constellations.
Yeah.
So Brown realizes that there is a definitive and real consequence for what he's doing. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And that's the reason why I said something about Bob Lazar, because he felt that same consequence. You have
Right.
people like Commander David Fravor, when
Hmm.
he came out and he saw the Tic Tac, and you have people like his wingman, and she came out and said something about it.
Yep.
But there is, of course, he's retired, but still one of my best. I love that dude. I wish I could meet that guy.
Hmm.
But there is consequences, and hopefully we can get them in front of the Senate again and again and again and again to keep.
Pushing it forward. We have to. It's that slow drawl that we have to. It's like a steamroller. Moves slow and it flattens a lot, but
Yep.
it moves slow. So one of my thoughts is, how we have all these military people coming forward with all this
Mm.
evidence, people that are in the DOD and in, the Air Force, and that sort of thing. But what about people like you and I that are out there trying to gather evidence for everybody? You
Mhm.
know, we get pushed under the table, and actually, a lot of us get disappeared. It has happened.
The people that you're talking about, trying to
Mhm.
be very careful with the algorithms here.
Yeah.
If you know that happened to them, be
Mm.
very conscious of what they said before that.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what they said,
Oh, yeah.
because that's the proof's in the pudding. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like if something like that's happening to him, which Brown is saying that can happen to him, but there's seeds. There's other people that have yet to come out. I've listened to the whole interview probably
Yes.
6 times, and actually, I was listening to the number 3. I got halfway through it today again.
Mhm.
And that's when they were talking about the global disclosure agreement. Where you know there's a there's a potential understanding among Western allies to avoid official discussion about this stuff, and
Mhm.
and there's a deeper control that they were talking about, and which creates a whole new issue. Yeah,
Yep.
you guys want to sit there and just have your mind blown.
Yeah.
Listen to Immaculate Constellations. It's on Weaponized, Jeremy Corbell,
Yep.
George Knapp, and Matthew Brown. Listen to the whole thing. Just binge listen to it. I know it's a little bit. It's like over 3 hours, or just right at 3 hours. Ridiculous.
But listen, we have seen so many documentaries come out about
Mhm.
this subject, right? But I'm going to tell you right now that those 3 interviews are probably the biggest thing and major thing that you can watch to understand what is going on with UFOs, UAP. Seriously, there is so much information there that you're going to learn, and it's going to move the ball farther down the court for you than anything that I have ever watched as far as any documentaries.
I can agree with that in a sense.
Hmm.
So you also have everybody has their own belief window, and I know this is for anybody that's gone through like Psych 101. Okay, there's people are brought up in a certain way, and however they're brought up, they have I call it a window. It's a filter that they have. I call
Yes.
it a belief window. So they're looking through this window, and that's where all their beliefs lie. Okay, so everybody's
Mhm.
going to have a different outlook on what happens, and their filters that they've grown up with are going to filter this through, and they're going to take it a different way. So that's the reason why I tell everybody, go out and do your own research. When you
Yes.
listen to this and you listen to Matthew Brown talking about sentient life,
Hmm.
or or Grush saying yes, we have non-human biologics.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you have to discover that for yourselves.
Yeah.
My belief system is completely different. My belief system is based on what I actually physically saw
Mm.
through these eyes. Yes, I was very young, but still, I shouldn't have saw what I saw. And that's the reason why there's never going to be a question with me. Are we alone? Not a chance.
Yep.
Not a chance. And I've known that since I was 5.
Yeah. Exactly.
But in the interview, he said, they are us. Did you watch that part?
Yeah, and I have a different take on that probably than some people do. Um, they are us. In other words, we come from the same source.
It- yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. We're linked. We're
Yes, we are.
linked.
Hmm.
And so oh gosh, how long ago was this? 2.5, 3 years ago. I was talking to a gentleman about this, and he's like, "Oh, extraterrestrial this, extraterrestrial that," and I'm like, "Let me give you a little bit different view on it." And he's like, "Well, what's that?" And I'm
Hmm.
like, "What if they're not extraterrestrial?" And
Yeah.
of course, at that time, my belief system said, "Okay, we have the ability to watch. Our radars had the capability about 80,000 feet, I think, at the time. We're probably much further than that now, but." At 80,000 feet, we can see them coming in from space. They're transmedium vehicles. But based on everything that we've seen, we haven't seen them coming from the moon. We don't see them coming from Mars. We don't see them coming from a different solar system. I
Uh-huh.
can literally, on the darkest night, when thank God we have a power outage for 20 minutes and I can actually see the sky, I can
Yeah.
see the Andromeda galaxy. Did they come from there? I don't know. I can see it, but did they
Yeah.
come from? No. My belief system for the longest time was, and I called them interterrestrials. Forgive me for not being able to recall where I actually heard that term, but
Hmm.
it made too much sense to me. We hear the Atlanteans, the Lemurians, and all these
Yeah.
ancient people. You can go as far back, and I know we're getting off on a tangent here, so I got to rein myself in. There's ancient texts
Hmm.
that talk about
The
all kinds of
Sumerian.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sumerians is where I was going with that. You're correct, but I just wanted to try to rein myself in because I will literally bloom like a flower and just go in a million different directions. And I told you that
Powered up.
before the show.
Powered up.
The biggest thing here is, as for anybody that wants to watch this, if you haven't watched it, please do. It
Yeah.
is definitely worth a listen to. I don't want to give everything away, but the very end is just, I love it.
Oh, wow.
There is a question that
Hmm.
was asked of Brown. You know, let's go to the the ships. I'll do that one first. I don't want to do the big one first. Let's
Right,
do
right.
the small one. Why so many different kinds?
Uh-huh.
How come the ship that I see and I got a buddy right next to me sees something completely different? Whether it's consciousness that's controlling this or not, whatever it is, there's always different types of ships. They used to be saucers, they used to be cigar shaped, they used to be a tic tac, or they used to be a actual wooden ship. You can
Yeah.
listen to Grant Cameron talk about that way back in the day, and they're like, oh, we're from Mars, and no.
Yeah.
And then Brown stated that for, let's say you have a certain mission, and in that mission you need a certain type of ship, so they build a ship that is specific to that mission to be able to do it at its greatest capacity.
Uh-huh.
Just like us. An M1 Abrams is not going to pull up to Walmart when someone steals a tube of lipstick.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a cop do that or whatever, or maybe
Exactly.
some guy on the inside. There's levels, is what I'm saying. And
Right.
so what we're seeing are those levels. The craziest one, you actually were talking about it, I think, last night.
Uh-huh.
Where the one that was going in and out of the clouds. Can you say that one again?
Yeah, so there was a craft that was playing in the clouds, and then it realized that it was being filmed. And it took off because it didn't want to be in the film, which is flipping crazy. That means that there is some consciousness, like there is something picking up on the conscious mind of someone else on the ground or behind a screen or whatever the case may be. Is they realize that they're being seen. And I've caught this twice in the filming that I've done.
Really?
So it's something that happens. Yes.
So can I ask you a question? I mean, I'm not going to ask, hey, our satellites, what kind of tech do they have?
Right.
He went over that. They have FLIR, or forward looking infrared.
Yeah.
And then they also have other, technical systems
sensors,
sensors. But the fact, this is almost like Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, I know I'm going back into comic book stuff, but you have these ships.
Mm-hmm.
Even in our sci-fi that we watch on TV, okay, we have these ships and they're great, whether it's Star Trek or Star Wars, and they're like, oh, they're hailing us, and oh, they know we're here. How do you know they know we're here? Right?
Yeah.
And now we're looking at real life images of a saucer-shaped object that is hiding itself in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
That Brown was talking about. We have sensors in satellite feed, which us regular people aren't privy to. And he's like, and he thought it was really cool, which I would too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And then it came into the frame. I was like, oops, oh, crud. And like shot out, like it got startled, like, oh no, I'm in the wrong spot, the wrong time. And it bounced out. And that's exactly what he said about it.
Yes.
That shows there is a consciousness there, whether it's, I know we've heard the ships might be conscious. I do have a email address that is FOTN, Flight of the Navigator. So FOTN podcast at gmail.com. And I made this actually years ago, before, right when I met Dave Scott, because I wanted to talk about this. So I was going to create a podcast called Flight of the Navigator. If anybody's a Gen X, you remember Flight of the Navigator, where the ship was sentient itself. Okay? Way ahead of this time. Beautiful movie. Watch it if you haven't. Trust me, you'll like it. So FOTN podcast at gmail.com is my email address, one of mine. And because of that, and it just makes so much sense. It's like, oh,
right.
Is there,
what if everybody's thoughts and consciousness dumped into the same pool and they were able to pick up on that feed?
Speaking of which, hold that thought, because that's going to go right over into the Hal Puthoff stuff, because now you're encroaching on our next topic. So let's get to the good stuff when it comes to Immaculate Constellation people. There is a price for coming forward, for him to come forward. and all whistleblowers know it, but they are being the patriots that they should be.
Yeah.
They have morals. They have an inner conviction that tells them this needs to be talked about,
Yep.
because every single one of us, not just me, not just Lee, but every single one of you have the right to know exactly what we're in, what we're living in, and what's going
Mhm.
on around us. And it has to do with the people that we elect and so on and so forth. We won't go into that part of it, but the final thoughts when it comes to the Immaculate Constellations. So besides him being at risk, and we already know that his background has been vetted over and over again, to the point where even Jeremy's like, dude, I don't even know if you're screwing me over. And he took him to Congress and was like, I hope you say the same thing that you told us. And he did. Thank
Yeah.
goodness. So there's a corroboration there.
Yep.
And but the nature of the claims, okay, when you get to the point at the very end, people, and I'm sorry, spoiler alert,
Hmm.
the very end is the hardest to digest, but
Mm.
it's almost the easiest because it makes the most sense in
Yes.
my book. So he literally said that we live in a dream,
Mm-hmm.
a very carefully constructed dream. We're
Yes.
using a tech that is closely guarded, that none of us as normies can know about, normal humans,
Mm-hmm.
and that we are basically, we can be one of a few things. We're a resource,
Mm-hmm.
or could all the way down to, so resource would be number one, and then
Right.
and all the way down at the bottom would be we're just entertainment, which I don't know, man. This, this isn't the Hunger Games, but
Right.
pretty close. You know
Getting
what I
there
mean?
sometimes.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Oh, I hope not. Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. But I mean, the biggest thing about this, the resource aspect,
Yeah.
is the idea that humanity is a resource. That's pretty unsettling.
Yeah, and I think what is meant by that, and this is my own opinion, is
Yep.
that we come here to do some sort of learning, right? And
Mhm.
to take that knowledge back to what we would call source. And that's kind of my thought behind this whole thing. That, we're in this matrix, right? This dream, this
Mhm.
built reality for us to experience what it is to be alive, what it is to love and hate, and all those other things, and take that knowledge back to source. That's kind of what I get from the discussion. Of course, that's looking through my eyes, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If so, you're not far off on my personal views and beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're actually stepping right on it. The one thing that I still haven't figured out, and of course I might not until I'm gone, is, are we taking it back to the source, or is the source living vicariously through all of us?
Exactly.
Yep. So
In real time.
in real time.
That's
That's
right.
the reason why I don't want to get too far off the subject, because we only have a couple minutes left, and I wanted to get to Hal Puthoff. Is the all the overall impression for Brown's three-part interview with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell. If even 1% of this is true, 1%,
Yeah.
that is something, like, that's disturbing. Like, we're dealing with something that is ridiculous. Ugh. I mean, it's very thought provoking. I mean, if it is a fraction of this is actually accurate, I mean, the implications alone of understanding our reality and how they're governed,
Yes.
our place in the universe,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to shake our ideals and
Of,
everything that
of,
we believe in out of the
it,
water.
it will. It will, especially people that are entrenched in different religions. If this ever came out, I mean, what would that do to society? And I'm sure that's one of their major concerns.
You know, let's let's put it this way. The United States government goes to the Vatican and talks. I
Mhm.
don't want to go on that subject right now. We can talk about that later, but goes to the Vatican and asks them questions about it. You know, like, is
Yeah.
this really going to end the Vatican? Like, nah, we got it. Don't worry about it. We got that handled. So what?
Yeah.
Wait, you guys were expecting this? Like, holy mackerel, dude. It's off the charts. So for anybody that has not watched Weaponized with the Matthew Brown, I suggest you do so. Of course, we're only skipping along the top, the surface of what that interview really is.
That's right.
We just wanted to kind of overview it, talk about it, and get into it. That way, you guys are aware of it. Go watch the video, and then come back, and we'll do more. Whatever you guys say in the chats, I will be watching them. Comment
Mhm.
and like this show and Spaced Out Radio. If you do the comments, I will read them and I will get back to you as fast as possible. I promise you that. I can't get to the chat rooms, the live chats, as much as I'd like to, because I used to be
Right.
able to do that very quickly, but I also had 3 hours, not one. So
Exactly.
we're going to step into another subject now, which actually, Lee, you tied this in when it came to your consciousness. So a couple weeks ago, Hal Puthoff went on Joe Rogan. Did you see that?
I did not. So this one's going to be out of my purview.
Holy mackerel. Do you know much about Hal Puthoff?
Not a lot. Not as much as I'd like to.
Bro. Okay. To get an accurate depiction of who he is, you need to watch the Joe Rogan show. Of course, Hal Puthoff is obviously somebody that he's in the limelight. People know
Right.
of him. Most
Mhm.
people do. And his background. So, I mean, the guy's a physicist.
Yeah.
He had an awesome thesis. He has patents. He has all this cool stuff. Did not believe. So, for anybody that doesn't know scientists, if you have a friend that has a bachelor or more in science, okay, you can talk about whatever religious beliefs or anything you want, any esoteric things. If it is not something that they can measure, I'm married
Mhm.
to a doctor, by the way,
Oh, there you go.
and she has a BA in science. If it is not something that's tangible, can be measured over and over again with actual results, and you can have a control
Right.
and their experiment,
Yep.
then they're like, well, I can't prove it, so it's not real.
Exactly. It has to be repeatable.
Exactly. So Hal Puthoff and this guy, right? He did this experiment. Now I'm going to go ahead and dumb this down really bad for everybody, but I suggest you go watch this one too. So he did this experiment. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take some algae, and I'm gonna separate these two algae from one petri dish into two, and then I'm gonna go ahead and threaten this one and see what happens to this other one over there, and we're gonna test it and find out what happens. And they found out that there was actually a result,
Yes.
a real result.
Non-local communication. Absolutely.
Correct. So then, and he gets into the strange and weird. It's when he gets into the weird science, and he almost uses a Ghostbuster type thing, which is who you going to call when stuff gets weird? Hal Puthoff. But then this guy named Ringo Starr, because he didn't
Oh, yeah.
believe in any of this. I mean, the guy, had he not had so many positive experiments happen over the course of many, many, many years. I mean, there was a couple failed ones here and there,
Yeah.
but the
You're, talk-
positive ones were outweighing the failed ones.
you're
Like,
talking about remote viewing and all of that.
correct.
Yeah.
So Ringo Starr went into a laboratory. He got a hold of him. Hal Puthoff did. Got a hold of him, brought him in. There was a quantum chip that had many layers of shielding around it. Nothing, no vibration, no sound, which is technically a vibration, and anything, nothing, not even magnetic waves could get through all these shieldings. And he's like, "Oh, well, let me see what's in there." And so Ringo made this chip do things. Subtle but registerable. And they're like, whoa, wait. And he's like, oh, you want me to do it faster? So he kind of focuses on it, does it faster. And of course, that's how Hal gets into this. And he's like,
Right.
wait a minute. Then 3-letter agencies, after quite a while, I'm going to paraphrase every bit of this, because the remote viewing records in of themselves, he was initially a skeptic.
Yeah.
And then he had insane, unexpected results, to the point where even a scientist cannot ignore them. You got a flat tire, you hear the blip, 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 blip. You go out and look at it. It looks flat. It kind of feels flat. Guess what? It's flat. That's exactly
Yep.
what's happening to this guy, except
Uh-huh.
his paradigm is completely shattered. He's like,
So this gets into the whole thing where it's possible to change your own reality in a way.
mhm.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of criticism, skepticism. CIA
Mhm.
sent a guy over who tried to debunk it. I'm just going to go ahead and run through this really quick.
Yeah.
CIA guy's like, no, I want you to show this to me. So they go out, figure out what, and the remote viewers are like, oh, this is what's here. This is where they're at. And they're correct. And the
Mhm.
CIA is like, I don't believe it. Let me go in my car, because I think you can see where they're at. Let me go in my car.
Yeah.
And then when I come back, you tell me where I was at. And then they did it. So then Hal's like, okay, because he still didn't believe it. Would you put something on my car? How were you had me followed? So then Hal flipped the script. Okay. This is
Yeah.
something, people, that you can learn. Not everybody, but it sounds like a good majority of people can do
Mhm.
this. And he's like, to the CIA agent, he's like, listen, you're going to be the remote viewer. And the guy scoffs. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? You're out of your mind. He's like, I'm going to show you. You don't focus on words. You don't focus on language. You don't focus on color. You just tell me how you feel about where they might be at.
Yeah.
And they're going to take pictures of where they're at, and they're going to bring it back, and they're going to set it in front of you, and or whatever it was, how they did it. That guy passed with flying colors.
Mhm.
Then became one of the CIA. I might be mistaking on CIA, FBI, whatever. One of the 3-letter agencies. One of their best remote viewers was
Yeah.
the skeptic.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
Oh man, could you imagine?
I can't. The only thing that I can think of is that, there's a friend of mine who did a similar thing, a similar test,
Mhm.
and he passed with flying colors, but yet he's got aphantasia where he's not able to, you know, see things in his mind, but yet he was able to figure out where this picture was at or where it was taken or before he even opened the envelope, which is just bizarre to me
Yeah.
for a person that has no ability to see, a location or a place or any sort of dreams or anything like that because they have aphantasia to pick this out. It blows me away that this is even real.
I think I'm going to put the Hal Puthoff on a little bit of a back burner for the second.
Okay.
There was, and I know this is stupid. There
No,
was
no,
one of
nothing
those.
stupid.
Well, there was a video short on YouTube. Of course, YouTube's real, everybody. No, there, but there was this, and I mean, I dug into this one for 3 days trying to find out if it was real or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it made sense to me because CERN is actually using AI, and every day
Ooh.
I use AI to.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, you've seen it when I do it,
Mhm.
and I use AI to do my research.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, I have to copy a whole bunch of pages that I'm on,
Mhm.
transfer over to the AI, let it read through it, and then I say, okay, I want you to give me a synopsis on this. I want you to break it
Mhm.
down into parts, and that's how I use it. I just
Yeah.
want you to break it down into the simplest parts because I've already gone through everything,
Right.
but I want to be able to talk about it, and that makes it a
Exactly.
little difficult. So there was a video, and of course, it's probably not real,
Mhm.
of CERN who's using an AI, which I did find out was real. And there's a
Okay.
name, Andrea or something like that. Anyways, I'm bad
I'll
with
write
names.
that down.
Yeah, just look up the CERN AI system and you'll see it's a girl's name, Andrea or Drea or something like that. Anyways, for anybody in the chats, if you know that name, just let me know. But realistically, that AI was finding patterns at the quantum level. So
Mm.
we've all heard of, certain planks or something like that they're spinning one way, but if you observe them, they stop or spin another way, or. So when you observe something, okay, so Lee, you're sitting in Reno, you're at a game,
Mm-hmm.
and you see me looking at you, and you look at me. What do? You stop and you look at me. You're like, what the heck is going
Right.
on here? Why is that creeper looking at me? Right? You understand that you're being observed, and you
Yeah.
change for that
Your
moment what you're doing.
my behavior. Yeah, absolutely.
And this AI starts seeing this at the quantum level over and over like a pattern.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, is that quantum level conscious? Like it has to be, because it stops or it does something different when it's being observed, because it knows it's being observed.
Yeah.
That shows some sort of consciousness, intelligence. I don't know,
What
something.
you're tying in right now, and I don't know if you realize this, but you're tying in the UFO as well, trying to get out of the
Mhm.
screen while it's being observed.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely. And that's all these things tie in, people.
Yeah.
Disclosure's already happened. We already know it's here. We already know that we're not alone. So get that out of your head. Now the thing is why, who,
Right.
where, what, when. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not a matter of if. If's out the window. We already know. And when it comes down to consciousness, you can go down 1,000 rabbit holes all the
Mm-hmm.
way, and you'll never hit the bottom. You can go as far as your heart can take you,
Yeah.
but you'll never get to the bottom. I mean, you're talking about non-human intelligence, and there's talking about this on the news 30
Right.
years ago when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I was driving. Nobody ever talked about this. People
No.
thought I was crazy because I saw a gray or I saw Bigfoot, and they would laugh at me or
Mhm.
whatever. I got thick skin. I don't care.
Yeah.
But now it's in the news, people.
It's in the news. Yeah.
Who
Not
saw
only
it?
that, I mean, we can't call people crazy anymore if they see something that can't be explained,
No.
right? I mean, it's becoming mainstream. And that's really a huge step forward for us.
Mhm. It is a very huge step forward. I mean, the fact that we're even talking about it and we're having congressional hearings on it, the
Hmm.
Senate's talking about it. You have Grush, Fravor, Elizondo, who he's a teddy bear of a guy, though, by the way.
Yeah.
And whenever, Lou, you get a chance, we need to compare cars because I got something for you, brother. You can come drive my cars anytime you want, and most of them are over 50 years old. So, yeah, come on over. I'll barbecue a steak. We won't tell anybody about it, just between me and you.
All right. All right. If I'm not invited, I'm going to be angry.
Anytime you're in Southern Oregon, and of course off air, most people that have watched me before know exactly where I live. Not the house, but the
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
As soon as I say I live 25 minutes from Bob Lazar, his shop is 7 minutes away from my house. You
Wow.
guys can figure it out. It's not a secret. I got lakefront property. The
Nice.
lake's huge. Good luck.
Yeah.
But other than that, and speaking of Bob Lazar, even Hal Puthoff said something about Bob Lazar. And you need to go watch this video. I mean,
I'm
it
going to
is.
have to.
Oh man, when everybody was in Vegas, Dave was in Vegas a few weeks ago, and Puthoff went on Rogan's show. I was like blown. I listened to it 2 times in a row. I've
I
listened
bet.
to it 2 more times since, because I just want to catch everything. And Puthoff, actually, his whole team investigated Lazar's story.
Yeah.
Just the other day, there was a guy, and I was talking to a few people last night on Dave Scott's show, on the normal Spaced Out Radio show, and people were talking about it there. I was like, listen, dude, there's a guy who was the lie detector dude, and
Yeah.
he had all. I keep forgetting exactly what his job was, but he was able to read body language and everything else, and he broke Bob Lazar's story down to every 30 seconds or less. He was stopping the show, saying, "You see that little tick there?" And he'd be
Yeah.
like, what tick? And then he would show it and you're like, okay, yeah, I see that. And he's like, so that's, someone that's nervous and he doesn't want to talk about this, but he's doing it anyway. And then you can see him lick his lip here. And it's like, what? Wild stuff. Wild stuff. So honestly, I mean, we only got 6 minutes. Actually, we only got 5 minutes left. Sorry, people.
Right.
Because I want everybody to catch Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio.
Yes.
Here, the next hour that's upcoming, go ahead and switch from this show to the next one. Please, please support us in everything that we do. We are gearing up. Dave has put everything on the line just to be here for everybody, including bringing this idiot back. And of course, I love him.
He's awesome, man.
That's
really great.
Oh yeah, dude. He's my brother from another mother. And what the biggest thing is, and don't tell anybody this, he's a teddy bear.
Oh, of course he is.
He understands people like no tomorrow. Like he gets it. And he has been there for me at my breaking point, at the lowest of the low. And he has literally reached into the mud, all in, grabbed my shirt, pulled me back out, slapped me across his face and says, get over it, bud. I'm here for you. And let me go. Now go swimming. He's always been there for me.
So Grant, I'm sure a lot of the people are wondering, what is this new show about and what's the format?
All right. So the format about this show is typically, I'm not going to go off the rails like I normally do, like I did tonight, but it's UFO, UAP related. That is it. I'm not here to talk about anything else.
Okay.
If there's, yes, Hal Puthoff and 3-letter agencies, I will talk about that, but it's going to have something to do with what's going on.
It ties in.
It does tie in. But I'm not going to go too far off the rails. I'm a nuts and bolts guy. What I seen was real life. Like, if it's consciousness manifested itself, boy, that's a heck of a job.
Yep.
Congratulations. You got an award, because it scared the ever living daylights out of me. And that's what this is about. We're going to talk about sightings. We're going to talk about anything that's in the news that has to do to propagate and get us one step closer to full disclosure.
There you go.
My full disclosure is I want to shake hands with the guys that are flying that craft.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the craft. I mean, it's cool and everything. I'm a car guy, but that's great. I just want to be like, so what color is the sky in your planet? Or where are you from? How do you guys make whatever you breathe underwater? Like, I don't get it. How are you able to move this fast underwater and in air and in space? Like, how do you do this? Like, it's
purely from the nuts and bolts point of view.
Yeah. And that's how I think. So, but it is what it is. This is awesome. I can't wait to start sharing more with everybody here. I see everybody in the chat rooms. Thank you so much for showing up. This is amazing. Please hit that like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Not Human Talon, I know that you did that. And thank you so much for the super chats, everybody. Kitty Catty Whack, thank you so much for the super sticker. That was amazing. I really appreciate you guys for your love and support of Spaced Out Radio. I would really, really enjoy if I can see you in the chat on Dave Scott's show here in just a moment. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a good one. 100%. It's going to be a good one. If anybody wants to reach out to us, next week, I'm going to have more in the show notes so you can actually reach out to us personally. And if you want to get a hold of, Cat or Filth, he's going to be on one of these days as well. He's got his new show that's coming up. This is so amazing. We have so much going on. But without further ado, we got to let Dave be able to get his show going.
Yes,
Lee,
we do.
I really appreciate you being on the show with me.
No problem, man. It's my pleasure.
It took the edge off, man. It took the edge off. And I was nervous coming back, like I really am. But
old hat.
Thank you. Absolutely. Everybody else, thank you so much. We will see you next week on Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a good night.
All right. Later. Good night, everybody.
Hey everyone, guess what? We do not have ugly swag. We have Spaced Out Radio gear that you're going to want to wear. Why? Because no one wants to wear ugly clothing. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com and go shopping today. You'll be glad you did. And it's a great way to support our show. Once you get your gear, send us a picture of you rocking out in your SOR swag. spacedoutradio.com, shop there today, and make yourself look good.